There are many factors that go into one's ability to make decisions, such as surroundings, peer pressure, and stage of cognitive development. What I'm going to be talking about today is gender. What are the differences between males and females in terms of their ability to choose, and what are the reasons behind those differences? Disregarding rank, presence of pressure, and age when making decisions, men and women are simply wired differently. This is due to small but significant differences in their brains, causing us to process information and ultimately make decisions in differing ways. It was discovered that men have less activity in their prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for impulse control, forethought, and carry-out. Increased impulsivity is linked to this lower activity level. Women are found to have more bonds among hemispheres, which means that we have a greater ability for analytical and intuitive thinking. These results can be compared to a study conducted by the School of Psychology and Cognitive Science and East China Normal University in Shanghai. In this study, they determined the role that gender has in making decisions by playing what they called the ultimatum game. This game involves two players who are tasked to split a sum of money amongst themselves when put in high pressure and low pressure situations. One player is tasked to split the money while the other is tasked to either accept or to deny the bargain. If the player does not accept this bargain, then both players walk away empty-handed. While participating, scientists monitored both the proposer and the responder's brain activity using a whole brain PPI analysis. The results from the study were that females accepted more unfair deals under high-pressure contexts than men, but in low-pressure situations, they accepted and made as many fair deals as their male counterparts did. Men, on the other hand, generally proposed more unfair deals and, unlike women, accepted less deals in high-pressure situations. They were found to reject more deals overall. These results are contradictory to the fact that women have more activity in their prefrontal cortex. Scientifically speaking, they should have been able to deny as many or even more unfair deals as men, but this was not the case. Another study done by the University of Arizona found some distinctions between each sex's decisions. In 2003, they administered a decision-making questionnaire that yielded more specific information regarding gender roles. Women were found to care more about the outcome of a situation regardless if it affects them or not. They also put greater emphasis on time, money, and emotion. Men tended to focus more on the end goal and analyze exactly which steps led them to get there. They're classified as being more assertive, realistic, and objective. Although these differences were found, the researchers did not see any contrast in cognition and self-regulation. Therefore, this indicates that both males and females were equally high-scoring in their ability to process, organize, think logically, and solve possible problems. In both the Arizona decision-making questionnaire and the ultimatum game study, the concept of societal roles possibly being more influential than actual biology arises. With the underlying cognitive functions of males and females being so similar, the results of males dominating in assertiveness, women accepting a greater percentage of unfair deals, and men proposing more unfair ones leaves the question of why men customarily get their way if females are just as capable of making good decisions and even more capable than men at proposing fair ones. One possible explanation for this is the societal roles that males and females are guided into from an early age. Men stereotypically are expected to be strong, breadwinners, and successful. Women, on the other hand, are depended on for emotional support, to be attractive, and to take care of the house and family, as shown in this graph. In the article, the cultural evolutionary trade-off of ritualistic synchrony highlights the dangers of this. The article states, if synchrony suppresses healthy group dissents, these minority participants would be less likely to share their information and argue in favor of their unique opinions. The notion that men are seen as dominant figures makes women the minority in most social and business settings. The research from the ultimatum game supports this hypothesis by the results that women accepted a greater percentage of unfair deals in high-pressure situations compared to men, maybe because they felt less confident arguing for their way. This could be due to the stereotype that women are not as intelligent, capable, and rational as their male counterparts. Subconsciously, men could use this generalization to their advantage and pose a deal in their favor, inferring women will not question it. Likewise, women are more prone to accept this unfair offer due to the societal constructs that have been in place for years. While considering the implications of these findings have on females, it is also important to discover what effect they have on the male population. Being expected to be successful, dominant, and responsible for providing for the family can cause a lot of stress and fear. If a man does not meet these standards, they could feel intense feelings of guilt and perceive themselves as a failure. Because women are generally seen as a more emotional gender, men might feel shame in their struggles and bottle up their emotions rather than talking about them. This could lead to unhealthy coping mechanisms and actions like extreme anger or even some extreme cases, suicide. Male suicide rates are higher globally and consistently higher in almost every single country. This information is extremely important for society to move forward as a whole. By recognizing and fighting stereotypes and gender roles set upon us, we can break this stigma and give each gender a better chance at success. Women would feel more comfortable asserting themselves, and men could be more open to vulnerability and emotion. This could lead to more equal opportunities in the workplace for women and relieve some societal pressures off men. Lastly, it is especially important to note that we are not stuck in these roles. In the Norman Rockwell painting, The Holdout, is a great example of someone going against these stereotypes even when under pressure and outnumbered. It depicts a woman sitting in the middle of a cluster of men inside a jury room. The woman is sitting up straight, making eye contact with the men as they seem to be trying to convince her of something. The cloud of smoke overhead and hundreds of pieces of crumpled paper on the floor indicate they have been there for a long time. What can be inferred from this is that the female has a different opinion about the verdict than the male jurors do. The men are trying to convince her, but she does not seem to be conforming. As proven by the ultimatum game study and the study from University of Arizona, the history of restraints both put on men and women can affect their decision-making process. But this goes to show that both men and women do not need to be restricted by the constraints of society and do not need to make decisions based off those constraints. Thank you.
How did your research question evolve as you moved through the process?
Okay, so initially my research question was how does what decade you're born in affect what decisions you make? And it was just too broad of a topic. It was too hard to pinpoint kind of what was most influential and what changed throughout the decades. So like as I was doing my research, I found the gender topic in search of that. So then I decided to go with this.
Okay, thank you. What are the implications of your findings to our community?
So kind of like what I said, just giving each gender a better chance of success, and kind of like men, just raising the stigma for like mental health and emotions in women, just knowing that we're equally as capable as men of doing anything. And I know a lot of colleges are giving like additional scholarships to women in STEM, just kind of trying to promote more fair opportunities. So I think if we continue down that path, good things will happen.
Outstanding. Okay, thank you.